Hi there! I am excited to share with you my introduction video to help you get to know me. My name is Jenna Brown. I am currently a part-time teacher at Roosevelt Elementary. This is my first year at Roosevelt. Prior to that, I taught first grade for 6 years at Woodside Elementary in West Ottawa School District. I also taught before that second grade for a year in Malawi, Africa, at a small Christian school there. Before that, I had taught in Ghana, Africa, at a primary school during a study abroad during college. My student teaching experience was in Grand Haven at Y5's Elementary, which was a 5th grade classroom, and my teacher assisting was in West Ottawa Public Schools in a first grade position at Sheldon Woods Elementary. I have extensive experience working with children, with Sunday school, tutoring, working at an after-school program, along with working at MVP in their kid stuff and running different children's events and birthday parties, along with hours of teaching that I did actually in my own basement schoolhouse. I was the principal there, and I was also a teacher to 12 students who were my dolls. And I really have always wanted to be a teacher ever since I was young with those 12 students in my basement. And I just feel so proud that I'm actually living out my dream. Why I want to work at Quincy Elementary. So I want to work at Quincy Elementary because I would love for my children to go to Quincy. I was a Zeeland East graduate in 2012. My whole schooling was within Zeeland. And I have loved Zeeland. I love the close-knit community that Zeeland offers and all the events that happen downtown, the summer events, the sense of family within our community. It's so refreshing. I've lived in different places, and I taught at various different parts of the world and throughout West Michigan, but Zeeland remains a special place to me to be. I would love to be a teacher at Quincy because I love the area. Quincy in particular because I would love to have my children attend this school someday. I also want to give a shout out to some of the kindergarten Quincy staff that I've met at professional development so far. Whenever I work with them or see them working together at these professional developments, I see a team that wants each other to succeed and really helps each other prosper as educators. I want to be working in an environment like that. There is such respect for each other that I notice, and also for their students. I would love to be able to collaborate with fellow teachers at Quincy and to work together to best help our students succeed. Some unique characteristics that I possess that are student-centered and focused on the success of all students. Well, some unique characteristics that I possess is that I love helping students become leaders. In my classroom, I often talk about being respectful, responsible, and ready to learn. I discuss how when students are this way, we become leaders for ourselves and for others. In my teaching career, I have found that by empowering students with their positives creates a classroom community where student growth is eminent. When students feel empowered and like they can be leaders, they want to grow, learn, and they want others to help others do the same. A few years ago, I had a student in first grade who was an expert at knowing all things about dinosaurs. Every type of dinosaur name you could ever name or know about, he knew. And he could tell you a few facts about that specific dinosaur as well. One of our units, we discussed dinosaurs just briefly, and instead of me giving an introduction about dinosaurs, I asked him to write something that he would like to share with the class about dinosaurs. He worked on this at home. I had let his parents know that he was going to share with the class. He had made a beautiful drawing about a Dilophosaurus. I think I'm saying that correct. And he shared with the class about how this dinosaur spit venom and it ran really, really fast. This student became an expert to his classmates, and we were able to learn together. I strive want in my classroom to make students leaders and to help them have a role in each other's learning. What distinguishes you from other candidates who have comparable qualifications for this position? Well, what distinguishes me from other candidates for this job is that I love the Zeeland community. I live and I work here. I want to build the community by being involved in Quincy and being involved with students, parents, and coworkers. I feel a strong sense of pride in Zeeland, and I feel so blessed to be a part of it. I also am someone who is driven to reach all students. I have a love for learning, and I love to help the littlest ones succeed in their growth and development. Teaching is more than the curriculum. It's the curriculum, but it's also teaching with your heart and reaching those students where they are at to help them succeed. In the past, I had a first grade student who I was warned about behaviorally and academically by his kindergarten teacher when he was put into my class list during the summer. I knew that he would be one of those students that I would really need to watch and I would need to create a relationship with in order for us to have a successful year. During the first few days of class, I noticed that he was always had knots in his shoelaces, like many other first graders do. But he was always fervently trying to knot them more. I asked him why he was making knots in his shoelaces, and he looked at me puzzled and said that he was tying his shoes. During class, when we would be sitting at our sit spots or independently reading, I would find him knotting up his shoelaces more, making it impossible for them to actually be neatly tied. But it was his effort to try and tie his shoes. He would go on the playground, and of course he would get them all muddy, wet, and filled with dirt and wood chips. I'm sure you've had this type of student or seen this type of student before. But he was determined to learn how to tie those shoes. After about a week into first grade and his persistent attempts at tying his shoes, and me having to untie the dirty, wet, muddy knots that he had made, I asked him if he would want me to teach him how to tie his shoes. He looked at me and smiled the biggest smile I had seen from him all year. And it was a resounding yes. So right after his lunch, before he went outside for recess, he would come back into our classroom for about 5 minutes, and we would have a shoe tying lesson. This really created a bond between us, and he did eventually learn how to tie his shoes. This student was academically very low, but this bond that we created, his behavior issues that the kindergarten teacher let me know about at the beginning of the year, slowly dissipated, and his fervor for learning increased. By the end of the year, he was still academically low, but not as low as when he came into kindergarten, or when he came to kindergarten and first grade, when he had came into first grade, sorry. His behavior greatly improved as well. I will never forget this little boy and how important creating those relationships with students is to help them grow developmentally and academically. Relationships and respect are huge in my classroom. Students must trust the adult or the adults in the room in order to grow and to learn. This is something I hold very dear in my classroom. Why do you want to be part-time with .5 FTE? Well, I love that Zeeland offers part-time teaching. I'm currently teaching kindergarten part-time, like I had said, at Roosevelt Elementary. This year is my first year having the opportunity to teach part-time, and I absolutely love it. Not all districts offer part-time and the opportunity to have a work-home life balance, and I think that's fantastic. I became a mom in October of 2021, and I found it really difficult to be a full-time mom and a full-time teacher. I love, love, love that I have the opportunity to work at Zeeland and be able to still do what I love, teaching, but also to be a mom. So thank you, Zeeland, for this opportunity. I would love to join the Quincy team and be a Y5's part-time teacher because I love Zeeland and the community that ZPS creates among its staff and community. I want to be a part of the Quincy team because I hope to be able to send my own children to Quincy someday. I would also love to be a part of a school that seems to have a strong sense of devotion and dedication to each other and to their students. Thank you so much for taking your time to watch this introduction video of mine. I hope to see you in person really soon. Thank you.